Okay, everybody, it's me, Gregory Mannarino. It is still Thursday, July 14th, 2022. Wow. No, let's get this right. Freaking wow. What a day here, people. Let's talk about this market real quick. Earlier, this market was getting decimated across the board. Well, some miracle happened yet again. Yeah. Whole thing turned around. NASDAQ actually finished positive, a fractional loss for the S&P 500 and about a 140-point loss for the Dow, which was down about 650 earlier in the day. But remember the lesson that I have attempted to teach all of you repeatedly. The Federal Reserve does not buy the stock market. Oh no. People make it up, like I always tell you. I am getting bombarded with questions today about this yield curve. People, I've addressed this for quite a while now, and this morning, honestly, it's taken the cake. We have a severely inverted yield curve at this point. But what is this telling us? The inverted yield curve has been basically a very strong sign or a tell, okay, throughout history of the financial markets, that there is a problem, and this problem is going to get worse for the economy moving forward. So yes, people, again, I am watching the yield curve. I see what's happening, but what are you getting out of it? Is this something that you didn't know? Maybe there's some new people here on this blog. I get about 100 new subs per day on average. And maybe it's some of you guys and girls here. Yes, the yield curve clearly, there's a problem. Okay, Houston, we have a problem. Absolutely, we have a problem. But I don't think this is any news whatsoever to a single person, not even one, who has followed this blog for any length of time. It's done. I said it this morning. It was probably my opening phrase in my pre-market video. It's over. This global economy is done. What we are witnessing now is a side effect of trillions upon mega trillions of dollars that have been flooded into the system via central banks in their quest to fulfill their end game, to fulfill their goal here, to own it all, to cause a meltdown of the current financial system, a liquidity freeze, a lockup. We're getting warning after warning now, the IMF, and a global debt crisis. Don't listen to Greg Mannarino. This is all a mechanism, people. Nothing is by accident. The free fall economy, the distortions across the spectrum of asset classes, the fact that the economy is in free fall, and meanwhile you're being told, oh, no, it's not. Oh, mummy man, I'm referring to our president. No, I don't see us going into recession. That's not what I see. You see, if you were also completely brain dead and turned into a puppet, you'd be saying the same things. You understand? The president now of what used to be the United States of America, which is now some other yet to be defined entity, is nothing but a puppet for central banks. The Fed is running the show. The Federal, you see my hat? That's where I'm pointing. The Federal Reserve, they're the real government. The rest of it's nothing, okay? It's all a shit show on an unprecedented scale. So just going back to the market here real quick, we have a few things to talk about, so just bear with me. We got some economic news I want to cover as well. But just going back to the market, a pretty miraculous turnaround, I would have to say. Oh, I got to own this market. I got to own debt too. I got to buy the debt. I got to buy the stock market. Oh, just got to own it all. Look, you know what's going on. I know what's going on. And I'm going to tell you something else. Let you in on a big secret. Everybody knows what's going on here. There's no difference between what we're seeing here in the market and any other managed market around the world. That's it. This is a wealth transfer mechanism on an epic scale. Yes, I have been buying the market. I've been buying one thing specifically, and look, I'm an open book. I tell everyone right or wrong what I am doing. Yes, I have made some terrible calls this year. I've owned it all. I've explained it all to everybody. I'm buying one asset, ticker JEPI. That's all. I'm not telling any one of you to buy it or sell it or play with it or dream about it or anything. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. Okay, that's it. So with that said, let's again throw an eye over here. So yes, yield curve, unbelievable what we're seeing right now. 10-year yield hovering around 3. Okay, this is central banks buying it all. They're trying to see their efforts here to manage the debt market, as you all know, is an effort to prevent a few things from happening. Number one is a liquidity crisis, okay? You have the Fed in here buying it all. You have mechanisms in here to continue to pull cash from the futures, this variant, that variant. Every one of these things is going to require more funding, expanding wars, sending weapons and cash and everything else. It's all the mechanism here, as you know, this crisis to crisis to crisis mechanism to prevent, at this point, a lockup of the system. But a lockup of the system is the end game. It's the goal here. Cause the system to lock up. Wait for the public outcry. I can't get my cash out of the bank. My ATM card doesn't work. My debit card doesn't work. My credit cards aren't working. It stops. All transactions stop. Inter-business lending stops. This was what happened in 2008, people, and the Fed got in here and did what? Massive capital injections to free up the credit markets. Oh, you notice how they call it a credit market? Debt market, same thing. It's all the same. It's just a matter of a word here or there, but they both literally mean the same thing. So a lockup of the system is going to happen. It's just a matter of how they're going to allow it to play out. They need a moment in time where the outcry is going to be the loudest. And the outcome will be the loudest when things free fall a lot worse than they are now. They need to get people in, again, a state of learned helplessness. Okay, look this stuff up. Getting people to believe that there's nothing they can do. The only help is going to be from government sources, which happens to be the Federal Reserve, and you're going to get, there's going to be checks being flying out all over the place, because they really care about everyone. All they're doing is creating slaves to the system. That's all they want to do. People who are subservient to the system and will defend the system for their lives, for their very livelihood. They're getting those checks. They want to keep those checks going. So don't you dare go against the New World Order establishment. That's what's being set up right now. If you don't understand that, well, maybe you need to get hip to the situation. But they need a very, very large outcry. The system needs to be shut down in its current state, and they need to issue in their new system of extreme control. And people are going to continue to lose liberties and freedoms willingly moving forward. This is what it's all about. Gold and silver got decimated today on this continuing issue with the relative or comparative strength of the dollar. And I'm telling you right here and right now, I've been warning about this for months and months. I may not get everything right, but once in a while I do. And this issue with the comparative or relative strength of the dollar has been one I have nailed to the wall. And I'm telling you, we're not done. The relative strength of the dollar being still dollar world reserve currency, prettiest bell at the ball. This is where people want to be for some kind of a safe haven, at least for now. So you're going to see the dollar strength gain, and that's going to pressure commodities, at least in the short run here. But it's going to all change at one point. I still believe in my heart of hearts. All the effort that is being put in right now, European Central Bank, Federal Reserve especially, to pressure yields, to keep rates suppressed, it's not going to work. It's massively inflationary. Massively inflationary. And understanding this mechanism, it must fail eventually, because inflation is going to continue to surge out of control. We just got a couple of really bad reports on inflation here. It's not going to stop. And the Federal Reserve, no matter what's coming out of their mouth, see, people don't understand the dynamics here. Oh, the Federal Reserve, we're going to raise the federal funds rate, which is the overnight lending rate, and that's going to fix everything. Inflation is going to get a lot better. Oh, we're going to unwind our balance sheet too, the Federal Reserve. It's not going to happen in any meaningful way. It would take 1,000 years, and I'm not lying, for the Federal Reserve to unwind its balance sheet in a meaningful way, because again, the Fed's balance sheet, the debt on their books is larger than the gross domestic product of most nations on the planet. You're not allowed to know that either. You don't believe me? Look it up for yourself. So eventually, people, we are going to get another massive sell-off here in the debt market, a spiking of that 10-year yield. Bang, 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 bang. By design, that's going to destroy the stock market. If you think this is nothing, what we're seeing now here, yes, the S&P 500 has fallen back into bear market territory. We were in it. We went out of bear market territory. Now we're back in again. But it's nothing, because I'm telling you, and I've been explaining for the longest time, once we get this happen, and they're going to try to control it, just like they did last time, okay? You know how this worked. People, the day that it happened, and you were all anticipating it, that sell-off in that 10-year yield. Once this happened, that same day was the day that the ECB, European Central Bank, instituted their emergency monetary policy, which they have expanded on 2 times. Federal Reserve, unconventional policy. They're trying desperately to stabilize the debt market because they're waiting for the right moment to allow the system to lock up. A moment where it's going to have the most effect. You understand? And people need to be ready for it. This is why, people are writing to me, Greg, you sound so alarmist. Alarmist? Are you kidding me? Are you seeing what's going on? People need to be prepared. You always have to have the high ground. Meaning, you need a stash of food, non-perishables. Meaning, you need access to water. Meaning, you need a way to defend yourself too. But I'll tell you something else. You got to get together with like-minded people. What do I tell you every Friday? Love each other. Care about each other. Be charitable. We are our greatest resource, you and me, okay? And if we can get together with like-minded people, we'll be able to survive what's coming that's being set up. You have to be able to see this. If you're not able to see what's going on, then I think you're looking in the wrong place, or you're being distracted by the mainstream media who never tells you the truth. They're all reading a script here. I think you understand that. But anyway, so a few things you need to keep your eye on before I go on. I have more stuff to talk to you about. Watch this relative strength of the dollar, or the DXY, DXY. A lot higher. That's going to pressure commodities, at least in the short run, in my view. Gold and silver, none more so. Silver got decimated today. Okay. 10-year yield. Watch it. Yield curve, yes, we know it's inverted. Is it giving you any more information? No. It's over. The economy's done. Globally. Period. The end. Reaching a climax. The climax is going to be a meltdown in the debt market that's going to wipe out the stock market, and cash is going to move, people. It's going to eventually move into real things like commodities. That's my ultimate take on where we are going. All right, so let's look at a couple of other assets. Bitcoin today did very well, back around 21,000. Crude under pressure, I told you already. Commodities, gold and silver as well under pressure here. Okay. With that said, I want, you know what, this is almost funny. So we found this out. Here's some more of the news. So wholesale prices rise. Pay attention to these numbers. 11.3% in the month of June, which is the second highest on record. Okay. But then they go on to say that year over year, okay, that's just in the month of June, year over year, food prices have only gone up 10.4%. Now, what kind of a load of dog shit is that? Do you believe? You go shopping, right? So do I. Are you convinced that food prices have risen only 10.4% year over year? Really? You see, this is more what they try to sell you. Oh, this is the truth. Oh, it must be because they're telling you this on the mainstream media. This is nowhere near being what it is, people. You know that. These numbers are fake. I tell you this all the time. And with regard to wholesale prices rising 11.3% in the month of June, that's fake too. But this takes the cake. Food prices up 10.4% year over year. Really? How many of you, with a show of hands, believe that's true? But again, they're going to try to convince you that what you're seeing and paying with your own freaking eyeballs is not true. That's their game. That's what they do here. And Anyway, look, that's pretty much it. I could go on and on, but this video is already almost freaking 15 minutes. I'll cover some more of this tomorrow. I hope you'll be back with me in the morning for my pre-market report, and we're going to cover all this. People, look, just remember this, okay? I think we all know what's coming. Honestly, okay. I sincerely believe you know that. I also believe that you understand when I tell you that we are each other's greatest resource. We need each other more than ever. I've been telling you this for years. I don't leave you off every Friday with love each other, care about each other, and be charitable for nothing. I do it because I want you to live it. Okay, if you do, if we can make a difference in the world, we really can. By one simple act of doing good for this person or for that person or whatever, it doesn't have to be money. Just think about these things, all right? I'm really going to let you go. This video is crazy long. Love all of you. Please comment here. What do you think about the stuff I covered? Elaborate. I promise to read the comments. And I'll see you in the morning.